Welcome to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We've got an excellent show for you today. We're talking about how to go from making $100,000 a year to $100,000 a month. This was inspired by a question that we received on Wholesale Hotline on Monday, so I thought I would expand on it for the first 30 minutes of this live show. Now, this being live, I need some participation here, and we're going to start with a few questions and a little bit of a quiz to see if you guys know some of the answers to these questions. All right. First question that we have here is, out of every 100 homes sold, how many are sold to investors? Lock in your answers now. Lock in your answers now. Out of 100 homes sold, how many are sold to investors? Boom. 13% of all sales are to investors. So if you look at how many sales are happening per year, there's about 4 million to 5 million on really robust markets. It's going to be around 5 million, a little bit over 5 million. We're kind of in the 4.5 million right now. So think about how many of those, how many investors there are out there. 13% of 4 million. It's absolutely incredible. Next question. On the list of Forbes 400 billionaires, how many made their fortunes in real estate? Lock it in, guys. Participate. It's right there. You got it on your phone. You could just go boo, or you just go on your computer. Lock in your answer. Is it A, 100, B, 25, C, 75, or D, 100? On the list of Forbes 400 billionaires, how many made their fortunes in real estate? 100, 25, 75, or 10? The answer, of course, is 25. 25. That means 375 of the Forbes 400 billionaires made their fortune outside of real estate. And typically it's going to be because they built businesses and or they built funds that bought businesses or bought shares in businesses, hedge funds, that type of thing. So really interesting. 25. Interesting stories on those 25 too, if you want to do some research after the show. Next, how many months of inventory do we have in real estate right now? A, 1 month, B, 8 months, C, 4 months, D, 2,700 months of inventory. Lock in your answer there. Is it A, 1 month, B, 8 months, C, 4 months, D, 2,700? Use those thumbs. Get it in there. Get your answers locked in. Okay. The answer, of course, is C, 4 months of inventory, which is really, really interesting because it leads us to this next question that's even more important. And I love that this is the last question before we get into the coaching and teaching today on how to go from 6 months, 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month. All right. Last question. How many months is considered a seller's market to fix and flippers? How many months is considered a seller's market to fix and flippers? A, 3 months, B, 4 months, C, 5 months, or D, 6 months? Lock in your answers there. Is it A, 3 months, B, 4 months, C, 5 months, or D, 6 months? How many months is considered a seller's market to fix and flippers? Dennis, you got it right, buddy. It is, of course, A, 3 months. Listen to me, you beautiful, charming, talented, enthusiastic, full of character wholesalers and investors out there. Fix and flippers are the backbone of our cash buyer database because they want the ugly houses and they want to turn those ugly houses into beautiful houses. That's how they get the biggest profits. And the biggest spreads that we get are going to be on properties that are completely destroyed. People that just want to get rid of them. They want speed and convenience, not just because they need a cash buyer because it's fast. They need a cash buyer because banks won't lend on horrible houses. Let that sink in. Banks won't take the risk. Because banks won't take the risk, that takes out 80 7% of the traditional buyers out there that are going to be buying with a conventional loan from a bank, whether that be an FHA loan, whether that just be a traditional conventional loan, that takes out all the other buyers. So if there's a smaller pool of buyers, the deals have to be better. And if somebody's going to bring in cash that they've raised, they've gone through the efforts of raising this cash, they've gone through the efforts of saving up this cash, they want to make sure they get an excellent return. And the risk that they have in buying that property is offset by what? The reward, baby. That sweet, sweet reward. At the end of that deal, when they fix it up and they sell that property, they make an excellent profit. Typically, they're looking between 10 and 20%. All right. But as we're looking at the inventory, we have nationwide an inventory of about 4 months. That's the supply and demand. So actives over pendings. That means the amount of available properties that are for sale that don't currently have an accepted offer versus the properties that have an accepted offer and should close in the next 30 days. That shows us the months of inventory. But when fix and flippers look at it going to 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, most of the mom and pops, the ones that want to do 1 and 2 a year, they're out. They're not interested. It feels too risky to them. Right. And the real professionals, now they're going, hey, listen, it's going to take me longer to sell these properties, which means more holding costs, more risk. I need to be able to have higher rewards for this risk. So I need to make sure it's deeper discounts. Not only that, but they also, in this market, when you get above 3 months of inventory, where we're at 4 months of inventory, buyers are going to ask for concessions. What are concessions? Concessions are essentially help paying the closing cost for the purchase. And they typically ask anywhere from 1% to 3%, 3% being the typical starting point in negotiations for a traditional buyer, somebody that's going to be an owner occupied. Even investment properties on some level are going to be asking for concessions to help with that, right? Because it's not just the down payment you're putting down to purchase a property. It's also the loan fees, the title and escrow fees, the inspection fees, the home warranties, the appraisal fees. All of those things go into the pot. And so they consider that for the cash to close, and they need some help with that. So remember that when you're making offers in a market that is above 3 months of inventory. Guys, this is a simple Google search that you can go in and search and find that out as easy as possible. And also, if you want, I can go in later to get real specific in your market, because it is really important to understand what is the inventory in your market to know what you can offer. There's a spectrum of percentages that you should be offering based on the supply and demand and the amount of inventory in a marketplace. Awesome. We're off to a fast start. Let's get rid of this and let's go to the whiteboard. Matt, let's make me full screen. Here we go. I want to start with this. Okay. This is my beautiful, I thought I did a good job here of drawing a brain. This is your brain, right? These are skills going into our brain. This right here, this thing controls everything. This is our biggest asset. This is what we got to be pouring into. This is why we do so much personal development. That's why we're on this show right now. This is why we're trying to learn as much as possible, because we don't want to take the stairs to the 80th floor. We want to take the elevator, right? We want to have the knowledge so that we're able to implement, and that's how we build skills. We get the reps in. And that builds the skills. And remember, skills build strong mindsets. And if you can't have a strong mindset, you can't be an incredible entrepreneur. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have the confidence to go through the tough times. You're not going to go through all of the reps and the repetitious boredom. And it's going to take you longer than you expect. And this is the quicksand. This is the trap. This is the banana leaves over the pit in the ground that has all the spikes there, is the time it takes to get really good at this business. Now, if you have experience in sales, if you have experience, maybe you have retail experience, maybe you've been a server for a long time, maybe you've been a nurse or a truck driver or a police officer or somebody that's had a lot of human interaction and connection. But if you're younger, you got to have as many conversations as possible. If you don't have a lot of experience speaking with people and understanding the different personalities, it takes some time to build the skills. But read this, and it's kind of like confusing. Matt read it. I was like, Matt, does this make sense? Matt's like, I don't know. Explain it. And so I did. But learn the skill of making the money before the skills of your money making more money. Okay? Build the skills of bringing in incredible income before you go and put it into investments. That's the breakdown. I hear it all the time. Brent, I've got $2,500. Where should I invest? In this thing, for sure. Because this thing is going to make you the most money. Your brain is going to make you the most money, for sure. What you know, the knowledge that you have, and when you implement that knowledge by taking massive imperfect action every single day, that's the key. But if you're going to be putting your money into some, cryptocurrency or some S&P 500 or whatever else, that's great. But your brain's going to make you way higher of a return than you just putting it into a passive investment. So let's build this up. Remember, 375 of the 400 billionaires did it through business, did it through owning businesses, not through owning real estate. Think about that. It's really interesting. Now, let's get into it. All right? Let's go from 100,000 a year to 100,000 a month. Really breaks down, let's break this down into market sizes, okay? Because this is important. Not everybody's in the same market. So there's small markets, there's medium markets, and there's large markets. We will define a small market as 250,000 people or less. The population is 250,000 or less. Okay, that is a small market. The average deal size in those markets is $10,000. That's pretty typical. I mean, I think if you're running more of the middleman model, where you are taking other people's deals and selling their deals to your cash buyers, a more disposition model, if you're familiar with that, it's going to be half that. But if you're going and you're sourcing these deals from realtors or from direct to property owners, $10,000 is going to be the average deal size. Now, you have a couple routes, right? There's only 3 ways to get leads. Leads is the first step in our business, right? We have to get leads, we have to convert leads, and then we have to decide on what our exit strategy is. There's only 3 parts to real estate investing. Three parts of the business. Okay, and so with inbound, so the three parts of lead generation are referrals. That's when people are just sending you deals because they know you're awesome and that you buy houses. So you got to be really loud, but that takes time. You've got outbound, where you're making calls, knocking on doors, or sending texts out to property owners to get a response so that you can open up a conversation. Or inbound, where you're doing marketing. You're sending out direct mail, you're doing bandit signs, you're doing pay-per-click, doing pay-per-lead, you have maybe a billboard or radio or TV or in any marketing, right? You put a ad in a newspaper, whatever it is. Old school. That's old school. Every course that I took in real estate investing from like 2016 and before, it was all put an ad in your local newspaper that you buy houses. Maybe that still works. I don't know. I never did it, but that's interesting. But it's $100 per lead for inbound leads. It's typically about $100 per lead. So all that money that you're spending sending out direct mail, it's usually about $100 per lead in small markets. PPL, which is pay per lead, these are internet-based leads, are typically going to be, you want to set your budget at about 100, and it's going to take you 20 leads per deal. Okay? So if you're doing inbound, do the math with me. 100 times 20 is, you got it. Average cost is $2,000. $2,000 per deal to make $10,000. Not a bad deal. Can you afford to spend $2,000 to get a deal in a small market? It's much higher in the medium and the large markets, and we'll get into it. Or it's going to take you 20 hours. It's going to take you 20 hours of door knocking. It's going to take you 20 hours of cold calling. It's going to take you 20 hours of texting. 20 hours outbound per deal. If you're calling the niche motivated seller lists, and I'm going to show you some resources, some tools after we talk to Tom Kroll on where to find the list that you should be going after. I mean, the bigger the lists, the more saturated the lists are going to be. The easier the lists are to get, the more competition you're going to have for those conversations. But if you're really getting niched down with the resources that I'm going to show you, 20 hours outbound per deal. And that's just across the board. That's just staying really, really, really consistent. 20 hours? I haven't even called for 20 minutes. How am I going to do 20 hours? Is it worth this? Because the cost for inbound, you can trade it, guys. You can trade it for 2,000. You can spend the 2,000, or you could put your time and effort into it. Put your time and effort into reaching out to the property owners, initiating those conversations, building up your pipeline. This one, you're in control of your schedule. This one, you're not in control of your schedule. When these leads come in, you have to answer them live. You have to answer them live. So if you've got a flexible schedule and you've got a budget, fantastic, right in the sweet spot, right? You can trade your money for effort. But if you don't have the money and you don't have the schedule right now, and you're one of those unbelievable, I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. I truly do. For the people that are going out there on their lunch break, people going out there before work, people going out there after work, and they're keeping their dream alive. They're just putting fuel into that fire inside your belly that says, I want to be different. I want to elevate the financial literacy of my whole family, of where we're at. I want to elevate the opportunities we have. You're incredible. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I swear to you, you are absolutely incredible. If you're taking action, I don't care if you're talking to a couple people a day. That's more than most people do. So have a lot of pride in that. And the more that you can do that, and the more that you can be around people doing that, it just makes everything so much better. It's always impacted me positively, being around people doing it and just taking that extra effort. Remember, exhaustion at the end of the day is the softest pillow. Does that make sense? You're incredible. Moving on. Small markets. Medium markets here. All right. Medium markets are 250,000 to 1 million population. It's kind of a wide range. I might break this up into 4, but I figured let's just keep it in 3. This might have some nuance. This is the only one that really has nuance, but it's really close. The average there is going to be $15,000 per deal. $15,000 per deal. And the cost for inbound is going to be $200 per inbound lead. All right. And you need 20 of them. You need 20 leads per deal. Now, listen, there's going to be times when you get 3 leads and you get a deal. And you're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. I only have to spend $600 to get a deal. And then, you might hear a podcast of people going, oh, it only takes 8 leads. It only takes 10 leads. It only takes 2 leads, whatever it is. I will say from 20 years of experience here, to be real with you, like real consistent so that I always like putting together business plans every year and really going on the side of caution, the side of, I'm going to go on the high end side of this, not the pie in the sky, rose-colored glasses side of this. I want to be a little bit grittier. I want to be kind of like almost worst case, not quite worst case, but in like just realistic, something that's consistent. So stick with the 20 leads per deal on this. So what does that cost you? It's $4,000. Interesting, right? Because the other one, it costs you make 10 grand, but it costs you 2. But here it costs you 4 grand, but you make 15. And the other one you make 8,000 net. And this one you make 11,000 net. Well, Brent, why wouldn't I just go into a medium market instead of a small market? Interesting question to ask yourself, right? Interesting question to ask yourself. But here's the kicker: 40 hours of outbound. This used to be 20, guys. It's just there's been an adoption by the sellers of so many calls going on to them and AI going bananas and VAs entered the market, that the adoption from the seller is, let me put up a force field and just shut you down instantly. So it takes longer to do it. It takes longer, but 40 hours to make 15th. That will essentially, I mean, it'll probably cost you $1,000, so you're netting 14,000 on 40 hours. Now I know what you're thinking. Perfect. 40 hours. I'll just hire a VA. They're $5 an hour, $6 an hour. I'll be able to just throw them in. It'll only cost me, I don't know, what's $5 an hour times 40? That's $200. $200 a week. I could get a deal a week for only $200. Well, that's not realistic. It's just not. The VAs that you hire that are under $20 an hour, you can 10x this. They have to call for 400 hours. So that's fine, but it's actually going to be $2,000 per deal. So you're still better than this, but you have to buy a lot more data, and you have to be wider, and you have to make sure that somebody's going to consistently be making those calls. Okay? Awesome. And this could be 10x to 100x. You just have to see what the talent is of those VAs. But a lot of people go that route because they don't have the time. They just want to get the leads in. But just don't expect them to call for 40 hours and to get a deal. They're going to have to call for 400 hours. So that's all. You got to get 10 callers to equal what you could do. Just something to think about. All right? Now, large markets, all right? 1 million population, all right? Average deal size, 25,000, baby. Now we're talking. Now we're doing crazy stuff. 25 grand? 25 grand. I would love if they ran a poll on the amount of people in the United States that have ever received a 5-figure check. That wasn't from selling real estate. That wasn't from selling your house or something like that. Like just from your earned income. I bet it's small. I bet it's under 10%. That might be generous. That might be real generous. Anyway, 25K per deal. Imagine that going into your bank account. Whoop, this is your bank account. It's just your phone. B of A. Oh, I just saw 25 grand go in there. Oh, it's the best. This will break your brain. It's the best. I want this for, listen, follow this instruction. This is inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable. You talk to enough people, especially if you're in a large market, you're in a major market, you will get this deal. One of these deals is going to pop. I mean, several. You can do hundreds of these deals. We've done, I don't know, 1,000 of these deals, more. But it costs $300 per inbound lead. Sometimes it's more, guys, depending on where you're at. Like San Diego or something, it's like 1,000. Seattle, 1,000. Miami, forget about it. Just New York City, some of these crazy markets where people just have huge budgets because the price point of the properties are really high. It's going to be a lot more. But typically in most of the markets, it's going to be $300 per inbound lead, 20 leads per deal. That's $6 grand. And this is spot on. This is spot on with my company right now in Phoenix, right? Or 60 hours outbound per deal. Oh my gosh, Brent, what? That's crazy. Well, what if you called 15 hours a week, 4 weeks a month? That's 60 hours, and you do $25,000, and you keep 24,000 of it, 23,000 of it. Is that worth it? Could you go full time? Could you start saving? Could you pay off some debts with that? Now, obviously, you got a business partner in this thing called the IRS, right? So you can't keep it all, but it's pretty good. I mean, that's if you have a job and anything. I mean, that's just life. That's the rent that we pay to live in this country is our income tax. But 60 hours per outbound per deal. And I'll tell you, if you call 15 hours a week, every single week, consistently for 90 days, this will start popping. Why do I say for 90 days? Because typically, this is just the stats around the country. For outbound, it's about 100 days before you get paid. 100 days. So you have to go through that fire of 3 straight months 15 hours a week making calls, and then it starts popping month 4. And then it starts really going. But that's the toughest part, because during this time, this is when we start seeing cool Instagram posts, start seeing some cool YouTube stuff. AI's taking over. AI will do all this for you. It's going to change the game, baby. First of all, robocalling is completely illegal. Completely. FTC is all over it. It's silly. They're just setting out the line. They're just setting out the line to see who the biggest the companies are that they can go after. By the way, they're a self-funded company. I mean, not even company, essentially company, agency, which means they only survive if they go and take the money from people that they go after for violating TCPA laws. So think about that. But 60 hours outbound. You got to put in the work. But that's the skill that goes back to this whole thing. This goes back to, wait a second, I am really building this. I'm really building my skills inside of my brain. But it's hard. I don't want to do it. Great. Then get a budget of $6,000 per deal. Get a budget of $6,000 per deal, have an open schedule, and make sure that you answer the calls live. I'm running behind. Tom Kroll's coming up. We got Tom Kroll in about 4 minutes. We've got Cody Hoffline and Mark Stubler, who own Joe Homebuyer franchises, which I own one of the Phoenix ones. Absolutely incredible. These guys are built to coach on scaling and systems and everything that you need. It's like a textbook on how to run an unbelievable business. Make sure you stick around. They'll be at the top of the hour. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be popping some balloons, giving away some awesome shirts and hats, and trapper keepers. They don't just trap, they also keep. You know it. And then we've got Investor Base. I don't know if you guys have checked this out. Very new, Investor Base. We've got Daniel from Investor Base coming in at the end of the show. He's going to show us how you can find all of the best cash buyers in a second. And it really helps for comping too. I've been using it for the last 2 weeks. It's phenomenal. The Rhino Tribe's been loving it. Here's a breakdown as you start growing. Because I showed you the stats. So if you want to do 100,000 in a year in a small market, you got to do 10 deals. If you want to do 100,000 in a year, you have to do 7 deals in a medium market. And then if you want to do 100,000 in a major market, you do 4 deals. But then if you want to do that a month, times it by 12. And once you times it by 12, you have to understand that your costs are going to go up because you're going to need people. You're going to need people, and I'll show you the breakdown of that cost, and then we'll get into Tom Kroll, and he'll blow your face off. But this is the structure of the business to get to $1 million plus, okay? There's you. You've got operations. You've got acquisitions. You've got dispositions. You've got your COO. This is who's going to run your marketing. This is who's going to keep you organized. This is who's going to communicate with title. This is who's going to make sure that everybody over here is doing their job, okay? This is essentially you when you get replaced in the business, making sure that everything happens. This is your integrator, as some people call it. Okay? You got your transaction coordinator. They're going to make sure that it takes all the pressure off of this group as well. This group should be selling or buying the property. The acquisition should be buying the property. Disposition should be selling the property. Your transaction coordinator frees up their time. Right? It's like a little valve, releases the pressure. And then this is so important, guys. Your escrow officer is so critical. You need a gangster escrow officer. You need the best. Your escrow officer is as part of your team as any other position. And you don't even have to pay him hourly. You don't have to pay him a salary. They get paid through the transaction. But if you don't have an unbelievable title and escrow officer and or closing attorney on your team, it's going to add a lot of work to what you already got going on, and it's going to slow down your ability to buy and sell properties. So this is a critical. And by the way, if after every 3 deals you're not sending this person a gift, you are missing out. You're making a huge mistake. You need to butter up this person. You need to tell them how important they are, because everybody treats them like trash, except for us. We gotta go with a higher standard. All right. Acquisitions. You have a set. I believe that there should be somebody in office all the time and somebody on appointments all the time. Now, if you're doing it virtually, I think there should be somebody that is pre-qualifying and doing the lead follow-up and then transitioning it over to the closer to get it locked up, either over the phone or in person. But I like doing it in person because the deals are bigger. And it's not necessary, but that is the facts. The setter is going to do all the lead follow-up. They're going to set it up for the close. The closer is going to go lock up those deals and turn it over to the dispositions. And you have a disposition manager that sells all of your deals and builds up your cash buyer database. Got it? Awesome. And then here's a breakdown of what you can expect once you get to that $1 million plus business. Because it's not like, oh, I make $100,000 a month and it's just me doing it all. Maybe you could do 4 deals a month just yourself. I don't really know anybody that does that. I know I've gotten up to 750,000 by myself, and it was 70, 80-hour work weeks. It was Monday through Sunday type of thing, right? So these are just what you can expect. This is real life. 25% of your budget's going to go to marketing. 25% is going to go to your staff. 10% is going to go to operations, whether that's that's your office equipment, that's your office lease, that's just some other things that you can expect for your operations, and then 40% profit. All right. Now, once you start building $1 million business, and I know this personally because I am very acquainted with the IRS, once you get up to 2 million and plus, they're going to want your staff to be W-2'd. Yeah. And once that happens, this goes down to 20%. So you have to increase your income on the top to be able to account for this, because you're going to have all sorts of extra expenses. You don't have to worry about this right now, but at some point, just expect that. Okay. And you have to make sure that the 20% that you're getting is worth the squeeze. It might be more than that. It just depends. It depends on how much you're spending here, but that's pretty typical. 25% is pretty typical. You might be able to cut into the 10%. Like I cut into the 10% because my team works from their house, right? I own this building, but I own this building for other businesses. It has nothing to do with my wholesaling business, my real estate business. So I'm increasing this, but then I pay health insurance. I pay W-2 unemployment taxes and all the other stuff. I don't even know. I mean, you'd have to talk to my CPA, but that's the realistic. So the question is, can you stay lean, just do this business with you and maybe an assistant, keep all the money, keep your expenses low and your personal income, go put money into your assets and just live your life? Or do you want to build a business? The margins are going to be much smaller, but the income could be a lot higher and you're not working in it, right? Just depends on what you want to do. Just depends on what you want to do to free up your life. Remember, when you're on just real quick, and then we'll get into Tom Kroll. When you look at the cash flow quadrant, you got employees, you got self-employed, you got business owner, you got investors. This one, your time is attached. This one, and I'll be dramatic, I'll grab the red marker. Oh, here we go. Your time is not attached. So you build the systems, your time is not attached here. If you're an employee or self-employed, your time is attached. Just depends on how you want to build it. But I will tell you, there is a lot of people that are living here that make a fortune, put it into assets, and then they're out of this thing in like 15, 20 years. It's pretty good. So choose your own adventure, but go in with eyes wide open. All right? Awesome. Guys, it is my pleasure every week, almost every week, that we have a genius pop in to the show. He is, I don't know, 6'2", maybe 6'3". He is mid-40s, looking great. He has 5 children, 4 children, 5 children, 5 children from the ages of going to be a doctor to, I don't know, kindergarten, probably. Yep. He reads every day. He posts every day on his Facebook account, which if you are not following Tom Kroll, you are doing a disservice to yourself and your business. He always comes with enthusiasm, and he gave me a shot. He gave me a shot in 2017. I wore this shirt, TTP, on stage at the very first Wholesaling Inc. Conference. And he gave me the ability to speak on making cold calls. And then he said, hey, listen, that speech went really well. Do you want to coach on it? And I said, yeah. And that was 2017. And the rest is history. Been able to coach thousands of people because he had an incredible podcast, Wholesaling Inc. He's been an incredible mentor to me, as well as his older brother, stepbrother, Todd Toback. Incredible mentor. And it's a pleasure to introduce him to the audience every single week. Well, every week that he's available. Tom Kroll, how are you?
Bam! Good morning.
Going from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month, Tom. What are the traps? What do we have to watch for? Who do we need to be?
Bam. That's it, right? It's not so much what you have to do. It's who do you have to be? That's really it. That's everything is right there. And I want to say thanks for that awesome introduction, brother. It's always such an honor to get on with you. And it's so awesome. It's such an honor. It's such a blessing. So yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think, sometimes it's really difficult to see exactly what it takes to go from 100K a month to 100K a month from 100K a year. But I think what's really easy to see is who's not doing it. I mean, I can tell you right now that sometimes even for myself, when I'm lost on a consulting call, if I have a client who is struggling to hit a goal, or they keep hitting a glass ceiling on income or some sort of a hurdle, instead of looking at the circle of who's doing it, because you often see there's a little bit of mystery there. Sometimes there's a few variations and a few variables that you can't account for. But you know what never is? The people who are struggling, right? When you talk to somebody who's struggling and you say, hey, let me ask you a question. How are you finding your deals? Well, billboards, radio ads, TV ads, cold calling, direct mail. I talk to people at the grocery store and I talk to agents and you talk to somebody who's consistently making money every single month. They always get the same answer, right? I found a channel. I dominated it. I know the exact right time of day, what to say, how to say it, how to respond to it, the color, the font, the size, and then we automated it. And now I'm on to my second channel. So I think it really comes down to some of the 50,000 foot view stuff, right? Who are you surrounding with? Somebody who's struggling, pick up their phone, say, can I unlock your phone? And look at their text messages from their buddies, right? What do you see? Inappropriate texts, right? Things that are holding people back. And I'm nobody's judge, right? I'm not holier than thou. But you look at it, somebody who's doing $1 million a year and say, let me unlock your phone. And you look at it, you're going to see pictures of books from their network. You're going to see pictures of them at the gym early in the morning. You're going to see pictures of their kids doing the right thing out with their family. It really does become a question of who do you become and more than what do you do? And actually, I would argue that the more business acumen that you acquire and the more professional you become, the more you do less. I mean, I'm a horrible operator. I'm a horrible executor. I have great ideas. I can buy a business. I can add value to it, right? I can make it more profitable. I could do that kind of stuff all day by putting the right people in place. But you ask me to go and do something myself, I better have a tech guy with me or 3 because I have no chance.
But you started with it. You started going on the appointments. You started doing your first 100 deals before you really hired somebody like your brother to help you out with acquisitions. And you had Lorena, who was a VA that was helping. But early on business, you were out responding to all those calls because you were doing direct mail. You were sending out direct mail in Port St. Lucie. Calls were coming in. You'd respond to them. And then you'd set an appointment right away and get out there.
Absolutely. Because of the principle that you and I don't know a single person who has a high net worth that didn't go through a season of outworking everyone else around them. I didn't finish college. I didn't finish the first quarter of college. I got a 990 on an untimed SAT, right? So there's no way that my college degree was going to do this. So all of my education came from implementing instruction and borrowing other people's confidence and borrowing their permission and getting their permission and getting clarity, singularity of instruction, right? I mean, I could tell you people who struggle, instruction, education, YouTube, university, all day long. Let education be your reward, not your front end of the equation. It's the back end of the equation. So yeah, I did it myself, and that's how I was able to see the sequence. And I think that the other thing that the real exponential factor here, like I know you talk about all the time, is that once you do it, once you know the sequence, once you discover the secret code, right? Once you understand what this is all about, right? Not do what I love and I'll never work a day in my life. No. Do what the market loves, right? In this particular case, we have a wonderful service. You know what that service is? If you got to get rid of your house quick, I'm your guy, right? You want top price, I'm not your guy. But when it comes to you got to get rid of it quick, I will absolutely do it or die trying, and I will be at your beck and call. And now you have the secret formula that you could apply to a door hinge company or a Victory Bell company or whatever company, right? And it's all the same principle. So I think you do have to go through that seasoning process where you get a little bit saltier. You don't have to lie and manipulate. You can just be a truth teller, a truth seeker. This is what I do. You put your horse blinders on and you just go, laser focus. You do it or you die trying. This is why if anybody's listening to this and they're at rock bottom, like I was, that's your strongest foundation because it gives you clarity. You could knock off all the BS and all these people who are taking time from you. You just go out and do it or die trying. And I've never had a client die, knock on wood. Thousands, right? Thousands of clients. I've never had to go to a funeral yet. So you just do it or die trying. That's the key.
2 questions for you, Tom.
Shoot.
First one is I opened up this conversation saying, learn the skill of making money before you learn the skill of making your money make money.
Beautiful.
What's your thoughts there?
Love it. I will tell you from coaching so many people that there are a lot of people who come in and right out of the gate, I want a lifestyle business. I don't know what this means. I don't know. I have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah. I'm like, nope, not the right client for me. So you've got to look, what is the spirit of money, right? Money has rules. It follows rules. It loves people that it's attracted to, right? It hates people pleasers. It hates people who won't fight hard to keep it. It hates hyper spenders. It loves the people who allow it to have babies. It falls in love forever with the people who allow their babies, its babies to make babies, right? Compound interest. And everybody needs to learn about that. But I think that money is spiritual. I think it doesn't care about you, right? It'll leave you high and dry and it won't come back until you treat it right. It follows a certain ancient old principles of money, right? This is why all the new stuff is garbage. You want to know about money, go read the old stuff, right? But I think that you have to have some level of the basic understanding of what business is, which is answering the need of the marketplace, not your own personal needs, right? And I think that when you make it the most important thing, that's really one of the biggest stumbling blocks. The people who get stuck at 100,000 a year, they're chasing money all the time. You could see it in their deal size. You can see it in the roller coaster that they're in with deals, right? They doing marketing, then they get a deal that distracts them from the marketing. So you just got to get out of a season of chasing money, but everyone will get there. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take. And I think that if you start to follow old principles, you get there soon. I think you need to focus in order on making money before you start focusing on, your money. Making money is,
Yeah, but Tom,
should
we
say,
should be
yeah,
putting money away, and we should be investing, and we should be putting it into assets, and we should be doing all these things. This is like financial literacy 101. What are you talking about? Right? We got to
yeah.
not just go out there and spend all of our money. We got to save it, and we got to put it somewhere safe, and we got to put it away, and we got to make sure that it is growing. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know how to make it first. And there's something I always tell. Yeah, here's something I tell all of my students, right? I don't care where they are. You can spend yourself broke, but you're never going to save yourself rich, because one is scarcity and one is abundance, right? And I think that you have to be a good steward of money, but you have to understand that money is only a symptom. And the condition is, everyone I know who has money has made a lot of money. None of them got there by now. I know people who've made a lot of money and they haven't kept any of it, and they're dead broke at 65 who call me for help. And I know people who they make a lot of money, they don't keep any. I know people who've had a lot of money and they're hyper spenders, or they define who they are. They do a lot of ego feeding, so they're hyper and they go broke. Debt, divorce, health, legal, taxes, right? Those things will take you out of the game. Don't mess with the IRS, right? There's a lot of things you need to know, but I think that you need to go through a season of knowing how to make money in order to become wealthy. And I don't care how good of a saver you are or an investor, even if you can somehow assemble a little bit of cash, you're in such a scarcity mindset that you're just not wealthy.
Love it. The other question I have, and this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one, not for you, Tom. This is an easy one for you, but for me, and I think for a lot of people starting out, is you really, day one, I think in 2016, I think one of the first conversations you had on a support call was the importance of tithing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy is bananas. I can't even, I barely have enough to, buy assets at this point, or put into my business or whatever else. I mean, I was doing okay, but I was always, it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? And so I really took it to heart. There was a book that you had, Four Spiritual Laws of
Prosperity.
Prosperity.
Edwin Deans. Yep.
And it talks about it in there. Can you just touch on that? I know it's kind of a sensitive topic, and I don't think tithing necessarily has to do with religion, right? It can be something else that you put your money into, but the importance of giving away money. Why is that? Why do so many multimillionaires that we hang out with and super millionaires give away so much?
Yeah, this is one of the ancient rules of money. And I will tell you that I don't care who gets offended by it, right? But here's what I would tell you is, for me, it's very true. I was at a Sean Terry conference that I was so broke I couldn't even afford to go. And Todd had to pay for me to go. Everything. I think even the gas money to get up there. I was broke. And I saw Philly Mike there. And I met so many, Luis and Todd was there, and a few other guys. I can't think of his name now, but I met some amazing people there. Blaze Delmonico, we got to spend some time together. He was awesome. And it was my start. That's how Nazar and I got started. We kind of started at the same time at that event in Charlotte. And this event was in Atlanta. And they were handing out this book, or I should say, there were people that within a 24-hour period, I had 3 people tell me to read this book by Edwin Gaines called The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. Here's a system that Julie and I follow. It works 100% of the time. Okay. If you want to be blessed and be overflowing with abundance, you gotta give it away. Even my coaching students, right? I teach my coaches, right? How do I get started? How do I create a multi-million-dollar coaching business? Give it all away. Give it all away. Right? That's it. That's the secret. You want to know the big, fancy funnel, tunnel, webinar, seminar, paid ads? Give it all away is the secret. And it's the same with money. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8. If you're not tithing, you're stealing. I don't know what to tell you. Anything that I teach, it's all, you could take it with a grain of salt, except for this. This works 100% of the time. I call it T4
Why?
freedom.
Why does it work, Tom?
Well,
I mean, it does, but why does it work?
here's what I would tell you. I have a Christian perspective on this, but I want to just preface this by saying, look, I mess up all the time. I sin all the time. I'm not holier than thou. I make mistakes. I made mistakes 5 minutes before I was on this broadcast, right? So I have the biggest plank in my eye, and I'm not judging anybody, right? But here's what I will tell you. I call it T4 freedom. It's very simple. Grandma sends $100. You do an assignment. Here's T4 freedom. This is what Julie and I do with our money. This is how I started, and it works. T4 freedom: tax, tithe, table, take. This is how it works. Number one, you make money. You better pay Caesar. I'm telling you right now, do not mess with the IRS. Anybody who tells you I can make an extra 3% if I pay I promise you they won't be in this game long. So tax, number one, first and foremost. Then you tithe 10%. I tithe to my church. You guys can tithe to wherever you want to. It doesn't really matter. Don't tithe to me. Don't send me a tithe if I've helped you. I don't want it. I'm going to just send it somewhere else. I have people who've done that. And then you table it. Table just means you save. All wealthy people save. It used to be 10%. Now it's closer to 15, but 15 to 40% goes into your savings. Where does it go? It goes 50, 20, 25, 5. 50% into real estate, 20% into S&P 500, 20% into cash, 5% into physical gold, 5% into high risk speculation accounts, Bitcoin, individual stocks, things like that. The last one is take. You live off the rest. If you are on a financial journey and you just want to start this right now, what should you do? Go to a Denny's, go to an IHOP, go to a Waffle House, get a cup of coffee, hand the waitress the biggest tip that you can afford. Whether if you're already doing well, make it $1,000. Don't tell anybody about it. Don't put it on social media. Keep it quiet. Keep it between you and yourself and them and God and the waitress or waiter, and walk out.
No, it doesn't count if you don't post it on Instagram, Tom.
And I know, brother.
Doesn't count.
I know. It talks about that. And I don't want to get biblical, but anyway.
I know.
Yeah. Don't do that, and start your financial adventure today, and really start finding the understanding that it's not your money is the beginning of financial freedom. And if you are a good steward of money, you will be put in charge of more money. I can tell you, I have coached thousands of people, and the people who are good stewards of money, they stay in the game. They build their net worth. Poor people make decisions on cash flow. Wealthy people make decisions on cash flow and net worth. And good operators, when you first start, they invest in themselves. They invest in mentoring. They invest in marketing. I remember when I was starting out, I was getting spanked. And then I would look at my marketing budget, and Todd and my other mentors would say, "What are you doing? You're all over the map. Of course you're not consistent." I mean, they used saltier language than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Todd would, they would hang up on me, call me an idiot, all this other stuff. But I needed it at that time because I had like an ego. I'm like, an ego? I'm literally can't even pay my mortgage. What ego? I'm like, what are you doing, Tom? Get out of your own way. So yeah, the good people are not afraid to invest in marketing because it's an investment in yourself. And I mean, the rules of money are very old and they're ancient. They work, and tithing is one of those things. I love it. I highly recommend it. And don't ask me if you should tithe before or after tax. That's something for your pastor or, your mosque, temple, church, synagogue, cathedral, wherever you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, coachinginc.com. If you are coaching people, this is the coach for you. It's absolutely the best of the best. Tom is the absolute best of the best. He's going to bring real heart and real honesty to your business. So if you are a coach, go to coachinginc.com and check it all out and set up a call with Tom and his team. They're absolutely the best. Tom, love you, bud.
Love you, brother. Enjoy the day. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless.
Tom Kroll, everybody. Who wants a giveaway? It's giveaway time, guys. I always feel so much better. I do it selfishly. I don't, if I know that you guys are getting a lot out of bringing Tom on, but I do it for myself. I just love seeing him. It gives me it's like, Wednesday, see Tom for 15, 20 minutes. It's like the best. It's like a shot of adrenaline right into my brain. All right. We got a couple hats to give away here. We've got a white hat and a black hat here. Just depends. What are we doing? Are we doing pool party? Are we doing a little outdoor pool party? Probably not. It's kind of getting a little bit colder out there. So maybe we're going for a little bit more of a formal approach. You know what I'm saying? There you go. But you have the option. If you get selected, be nice in the comments. And to Alejandra, she's the one that selects who these go to. We also have a matching. You and I could be matching here. Boom. TTP shirt. We'll send that out. Or we have the always popular Trapper Keeper. I feel like we've given one of these away before, this exact one, but we've got another one. I'm going to put in Henry Washington's Real Estate Deal Maker book, which is phenomenal. I'm also going to put in the Master Lead Sheet pad that keeps you organized when you are doing your lead follow-up. So let's see what these balloons look like today and see if I can hit them with less than, what is this, 6 darts. Here we go. Going all the way back here so you guys can see the full studio, by the way. Can we zoom this thing out? Look at this. Look how cool this background is today, guys. If you like this background, let me know. This is an LED wall. It's 20 foot by 9 foot, and it is awesome. It's one of my favorite things. And so here we go. We're throwing orange will be the hats, white will be the shirt, and black balloons will be the Trapper Keeper. Boom! First one. Somebody's matching me today. Somebody is matching me today. That's called pure athleticism, okay? That's called being in the zone and getting it done, all right? Man, I love that. That is good. Yeah, we got to make that harder. We got to like spin around or put a blindfold on or like, have a wheel that spins or something. I don't know. So there we go. We're going to send out a classic TTP shirt that I originally wore in 2017 on stage. Made it specifically. I made it. I thought that if I wore it around a bunch and talk to people became a normal thing in our industry, that it would give people confidence, give my company confidence, give myself confidence every single day to go out and find new opportunities and focus on really what matters in this business. And that's conversations and offers. If we just focus on conversations and offers, you win. It's impossible to lose. If you talk to enough people, make enough offers, you will win. You will absolutely win. And so I thought that the initials, just having 3 initials was smart, like NFL, MLB, NBA, UFC, like that type of thing. I thought that was smart. And then I grew up in the 90s in high school, and there was something called NWO. There were wrestlers, and it was like Hulk Hogan and like 1,000 other guys that would wear these NWO shirts. We'll pull it up. Can you find something like that? I'll find it for you. Anyway, so I kind of modeled it off of that, and then then I wore it every day for like 6 years. Now I wear a Rhino shirt and some other things, but it was good. Guys, another guy, 2017, speaking on stage in this shirt. This was the business partner of Tom Kroll. Can you believe it? At Wholesaling Inc. He was doing incredible things. I first heard this incredible entrepreneur on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. He was kind of taking over, giving Tom some additional podcasts that we can all listen to. It was awesome. And he was talking about how he had a conversation with his wife, and they weren't doing well financially. And it was a conversation on, do you pay bills or do you buy groceries? And where he was at that point to where he was at the time of the podcast it was such a vast difference, because he really took wholesaling seriously. He took his wholesaling business. He took the efforts that he had to put into finding great opportunities and selling great opportunities, and built a great business. And like all of us, like Tom, like myself, pulled out of financial distress into financial stability, and then increasing the net worth, his net worth, and his experience in business, and just being really, really, really smart in Utah. And his business partner came along during that time and was like, hey, what is going on here? What is this business that you got going on? And they decided to commingle and get together and collaborate and thought bigger. It's not just about doing this small little business here. It's about, what if we built an actual bigger business? What if we built a franchise business with really incredible principles that we've adopted and learned and refined over the years, and put it all together and spend countless tens of thousands of dollars putting together franchise, the paperwork and attorney's fees, and making sure everything was really running clean, and really building something that's long lasting and that could be cookie cutter and be able to be implemented in all the other markets. And this is very rare. The fact is, most of us have wholesaling businesses, real estate businesses, that when we shut it down, it's done, right? Nobody's going to really buy our business. They thought differently. They thought, you know what, how can we bring a real name to the industry outside of like a Home Investors, or some of the other, I don't even know if some of the other companies are franchises. That might be the only one. There might be others. They could tell us, but they started Joe Homebuyer, and I bought the franchise in 2018 or 19. I don't remember. And it's been absolutely phenomenal since. And these guys are masters at scaling. So that is a long way to get to one spot, Cody and Mark. I'd like to introduce to the live show, Cody Hoffine and Mark Stubler. How are you guys?
What's up, brother?
Cody's, you're muted, bud, somehow.
I was going to say, I need you to remember what you said one day, so that if I prematurely die, you speak at my funeral. That was like, let's go.
Well, listen, you and Tom gave me the opportunity. You guys gave me a shot in 2017 to speak on stage in front of your community, Wholesaling Inc. And it has totally changed my life since. It's given me the open door to coach and teach and build a YouTube channel and a podcast and all those things. So incredibly grateful to both of you guys for that opportunity. You certainly could have kept it all to yourself and not giving me that shot, but I want to say thank you. And also we're like married, right? We're married in business with the Joe Homebuyer franchise. So this whole show is about how to go from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month. So I'll just turn it over to you guys and step out of the way, because I mean, this is what you guys do.
Well, dude, I love you real quick. I want you to know that you got out of your comfort zone. You were like entrepreneur on fire when you came to Wholesaling Inc., and you deserved being on that stage. And you probably worthily stole the show on every stage we put you on. You always made everyone laugh, and everyone's like, dude, he was on fire. I'm like, I know. One day I want to have someone say that about me on stage. Like, they love you. You're a beast on it. Mark, start us off, my friend. I know you're going to go on there and say something.
Well, I appreciate it, Brent. It's fun to be with you today, and you have an incredible team, and it's fun to work with them behind the scenes. And it's incredible what you're accomplishing in a crazy competitive market of Phoenix. But it just shows what quality people can do when they're strategic in their efforts. But the first thing I was going to think, and I think Cody probably has a lot of insights to share, is going from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month is an enjoyable process. It's fun. And what I mean by that is, you have to know that you're signing up for a personal development challenge, AKA entrepreneurship. And so it's just if you can just look at it as, hey, I'm signing up for a good time. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of work. That's the first framework that I guess I felt to share just right off the bat, is it's a journey, but it is really a boot camp for personal development. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I read this quote, Cody and Mark, that the person that enjoys walking goes further than the person that likes the destination. Right?
I love that.
Yeah. And so I think that's what you're talking about. It's like, okay, listen, this is going to be tough, but you got to love you got to love being an entrepreneur. You got to love being of value and service to the marketplace. Because if you don't, then just keep a job or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you truly want to build something that you're thinking about all the time, entrepreneurs, we're thinking about it all the time. We're all the time thinking about it. We're not turning it off. It's going on all the time. There might be some entertainment here and there, but for the most part, it's the switch is flipped on.
Agreed. Let me start with this to kind of go with this little like quote going, because it's something powerful. I hope your audience just has something at the end of this to say, hey, take action, because we can't build out a process. I can't build out a system in the short time we have, but what we can do is give them something to take action on. That's my promise to you if you're listening to this today. Napoleon Hill, he tells us that think of all this stuff that's temporal. It's all temporary. This pain that we've all gone through, Brent's gone through, I've gone through, Mark's gone through, it's temporary. Life is temporary. I know that when I held my mom's hand when she gave her last breath. Life's temporary, guys. But Napoleon Hill said something special. He says, if you can survive the temporary pain, survive the temporary struggle. So think of where you're at with your business right now. You're like, oh, this is so challenging. If you will continue to push forward and survive that temporary pain, on the other side of that temporary pain, you meet your other self. This other self that can't be destroyed. This other self that's destined to do incredible things. This other self that's going to build that 7-figure business. This other self that no one can distract you or pull you away from your dreams because you've put in the work. You've overcome that temporary pain. I will tell you guys, one of the principles I want you to understand quickly, and we did this even with Joe Homebuyer, is instantly we recognize quickly all the people that are winning at a high level. There's 2 things they have in common. They are always surrounding themselves with the right people and putting themselves in the right places. And so we wanted to make sure if we want to win at a high level, me and Mark always continue to put ourselves in the right rooms and around the right people, and it accelerated our growth. We're inspired. You do that so you can get inspired. And then when you get inspired, that's what leads you to action. And we just got to train the brain to close the gap between inspiration and action. So we got to just close that gap. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I went to church today, I was so inspired, it was great, and then you don't take action, inspiration is nothing by itself. But if we can train our brain to get inspired, to take action and just close that gap and act today, that's what I want to give you. I would tell you one of the most sound principles is you put yourself in rooms, and it might be you have to pay to play. It might be that Brent throws an incredible event, you pay to play, and you get yourself in that room. Why? Because the place gets you inspired. It puts you around other people that get you inspired. And when you're inspired, that's when you're most determined to take the action, and you just got to close that gap. So that's what we've always done at Joe Homebuyer, Brent. That's been something that's been of profound value that we see over and over again, is we've created a place, we've created events, we've created calls during the week where we're creating the place where people get inspired with an incredible community that's just top notch, including your group. We absolutely love your team. We love you. And that's one quick principle I wanted to share to help them that they could take action on.
How do you know you're in the right room and in the right with the right people?
So good. I would make sure I'm the dummy in the group. I would make sure I'm the one that is the lowest producing revenue earner in there. I would make sure that I'm in a room with a bunch of people that are in the destination that I want to be at, not that I am the top dog, that I am literally the lowest person on the totem pole, and I'm looking at these giants. Because if you can put yourself in that situation, good things happen.
So Mark, let me ask you tactically, is that a word?
I like that. I like it. Today it works.
It is today. How do we find deals to get to the point of 6 figures a month? And what should we expect from a marketing budget? I broke this down, and I don't know if you guys were around to see it. Matt, can you switch me to the lapel, please? Yep. I thought that this was, you got 25% marketing, 25 for staff, 10 for operations, 40 for profit. And then really it's 20 for profit once you have to W-2 everybody and give them health insurance. So is that fair, or am I crazy? What's your thoughts there?
No, your margins of how the breakdown is pretty good. Although in the early stages, we know that a lot of our even our franchisees, but new wholesalers, people entering the market, they wear most of those hats. And so you might even experience a healthier margin in the early days. But you're right, Brent. I think you're targeting a 4-to-1 return on your marketing. So if you want to be $100,000 a month, you've got to plan to spend $25,000 a month. Now, you don't start there. And by the way, the killer closers, those that have all the exit strategies and do a lot with the property once they get it, in other words, they mastered the sales process, well, they can do better than 4-to-1, or that would be the goal, to achieve that, right?
Yep.
Because it's really maximizing profit and really maximizing the whole sales process. But it's really an iteration. You don't start with 25. I mean, those of you that enter the business and think, all right, I've got money, I'm going to drop $25,000 a month. You'd miss the opportunity to create the habits necessary to be $1 million producer in terms of learning and the iterations, creating the habits that help develop a business and an organization, a structure that supports a thriving organization like that. And so the tactical answer for me is look at your business from a very iterative perspective, meaning that you get, you're always taking the feedback that you're getting. All right, I put in this much money in marketing. I'm going to assess it. I'm going to evaluate. And now I'm going to iteratively, I hope I'm using that word with enough punctuation there correctly, so that you can now make the necessary pivot to move your business forward. But it's the habit of stop, evaluate, and then re-enter. Cody and I were just recently visiting with John Maxwell at Family Mastermind. And he taught a really cool principle. I might be stealing Cody's thunder a little bit because he's a disciple of John Maxwell and this message. He talked about this process of developing this success formula is test, fail, learn, improve, and then re-enter. So Cody, I'll let you interrupt me because I know you're passionate about this, but I love this idea of that's how I believe our businesses are grown is ultimately enjoying the idea that we're testing, failing, improving, learning from everything, and then basically starting over each time.
And Brent, why you win at such a high level and why we chose to win at a high level, it's because we fell in love with failing, and we'll just do it at a higher level. So instead of for every 10 actions you take, 7 failures, someone's like, oh man, I took 10 actions. I failed 7 times. I'm doing what you guys are saying. The difference is I'm willing to go take 1,000 actions and fail 700 times. I love failing that much. Like the reason why we win so big is because we fail so big. And that's a beautiful thing. And when you accept that's just part of life, we have big dreams. Big dreams come big struggles. Big struggles lead to big victories. It's just a 3-step process. That's what we got to always hold on to. So if you're feeling a big struggle, I want you to pat yourself on the shoulder because you're already escaping the 95% out there that are just going lackadaisical and just being normal, just being like everyone else out there. Because you're going through a big struggle, that means you have a big dream. And if you'll just keep pushing through, on the other side of that temporary pain is a big victory, the same size. All of them are equal. So if you're feeling a big dream, you're going to have a same size struggle that you're going to go through. Same thing. When you get the victory, it's going to be the same size as the struggle you're feeling. So give yourself some grace when you feel some of those struggles, because the same victories come in your way, the same size. And we love to fail. We're still failing today, Brent. And that's
I love it.
Thing.
Yeah, when you're saying that, Cody, it instantly goes to, in my mind, because I'm the TTP guy, I was thinking about, I've talked to 45,000 property owners myself, right? And out of that 45,000, I probably did like 500 deals. So you give or take, that means like 44,500 failures. You know what I mean? 44,500 people that would never do business with me, but 500 people did. You know what I mean? And right now in the Rhino Tribe, we've got a real aggressive challenge going on where everybody is trying to talk to 100 people a day, 100 people a day. And to talk to 100 people a day takes all day, right? So you're literally going all day and you're failing 90 times out of that 100 a day. You're failing 7 hours out of the 8 hours that you're calling a day. But people are setting more appointments than ever. People are locking up more deals than ever. And we're what's today? The 8th? The 7th? I don't know what it is, but it's the most incredible month that we're having. And it's because people are taking the massive imperfect action, failing a tremendous amount of times. But it doesn't matter. Like, I'll fail 1,000 times to make 20K. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about?
That's right.
This is the difference. That's the exact difference, Brent. And it's never going to stop. you're always going to fail, Brent. Like, that's a beautiful thing. We just have to accept that's just part of the cycle. It's a success cycle. Those that are winning a higher level, they're failing at a higher level too. And
yeah, but we're taught in school, F is failing. D is almost failing. C, you're doing okay. You're like an average person. B, you're a little bit better than average. And A, that's where you want to be. You want to be an A. You want to have the least amount of failures possible. It's the exact opposite as an entrepreneur. And I think that's the toughest part. I think psychologically, we're just programmed to be like, oh no, I have to get an A on this test. I have to be really good at this right away, or it's just not worth my time and I'm going to feel like a failure.
Yeah, you can't collaborate. Collaborators are the winners, by the way. Collaboration is the way to win. You can't collaborate in school. It's called cheating.
Right.
Like, you have.
I did a lot of collaborating.
I did a ton of collaborating. That's how I squeaked by high school. But collaboration is the next part, is who can you collaborate with? I think so many times we think just so myopically, and we think about our business today, and it's like, why would I want to give up some business? Well, think bigger. How are you able to do more deals so that you can have a stream of revenue, a team in place, grow leadership within you, so you can grow a team so that you're having a business here? But Brent, if you just had all your wholesaling business, it's great. Don't get me wrong. You'd still have gratitude, but it's not the end all be all. It really isn't. Now you have coaching, you have investments, you have all these other collaborations you're doing that stacks wealth.
Yep.
That's what you're able to do when you collaborate. And so that's the other part, is you've got to grow in leadership so you can grow a team so that they can ultimately take on some of these big roles. Brent's not going on appointments anymore. Brent's not day-to-day in the business because he collaborates. He grew in leadership, grew a great team. The team goes out and executes, and he's able to work on some of these other things so that you have these other streams of income to truly stack wealth.
What's going on back there? Is somebody playing with pots and pans?
Oh, Wendy, are you playing with the pots and pans back here? This is an office and a rental at the moment. I'm building a home in St. George, and it is the worst office in the world. But yes, call her out.
Oh, hey, I love it. Lady. I would never call Wendy out. Wendy's the real MVP in that house. That's for sure. Hey, Wendy.
She's the real MVP.
I'll make you some lunch too, okay?
I love it. I am hungry.
She's weighing out the macros.
We got this.
Shredded. Shredded. I love it. Mark, how can people find out more about Joe Homebuyer?
Well, grateful for that, Brent. And JoeHomebuyerFranchising.com. You can find us. You can follow myself and Cody Hoffine, Mark Stubler, Cody Hoffine on social media. But if you're looking for right room, right places, obviously it's a testament of that, because you're all running this challenge for the month of October of Talk to 100 People. Brent is setting an incredible tone for you. Our Joe Homebuyer community is really special. We're looking for a few strategic partners that want to grow their business, leverage our community, our resources, our technology. And you can find us JoeHomebuyerFranchising.com. Would love to visit with you.
There's a reason why Jerry owns multiple. Jerry Norton owns multiple, and I own one.
10 of them.
10 of them. Yeah. I mean,
leverage.
It's a no-brainer, especially having an asset that maybe you want to get out of the business someday. People will buy franchises from you. I doubt that they'll buy your buyer's list in your regular real estate business. So definitely check it out. It is JoeHomebuyerFranchising.com. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Love you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Awesome. See ya. What did he call it? Collaboration on cheating in high school, in college. I'm telling you, the only reason I got through high school and college was because I was a decent presenter. There would be like group projects and everybody would do all the work and I would just be the one up there because everybody was afraid of talking to people and getting in front of the professors or whatever. Interesting. I love that. Collaboration on homework in high school. Let's give some more stuff away, guys. You guys ready? Absolutely. Okay. So top tier, the hats. We got 2 hats. You get to pick which one you want. The Rhino hats. It is always a nice hat for any occasion. You can wear it with just a plain tee. You could wear it with a tank top. You could wear it with a hoodie. You could wear it with just a regular run-of-the-mill sweater. It really goes with everything. There you go. We've already given the TTP shirt away, but you never know. We might have to give another one away. And then also, we've got the Trapper Keeper By the way, guys, stay tuned. In about 11 minutes, Daniel McClam's coming on. He owns a company called Investor Base. If you haven't been around and checked out Investor Base, it is awesome. It is really cool, and we'll do a promo of that and show you what that's all about, so that you guys can make a decision for yourself. Before we throw these darts, a couple resources that I want to show you guys that I talked about in my opening rant. What is it? The window? I think it's window, right, Matt? Yeah. Boom. Share. We'll go here. And there we go. US lead list, guys. Top list that we use. If you can get your market, I would lock it in now. Absolutely incredible. This is pre-probate. Nobody has this list. This is the toughest list to get. I was on a waiting list for this for 15 years, 10 plus at least, but I think it was like 15 years until I sweet talked Micah into letting me get it. No, actually somebody fell out and I was able to snag it. They actually retired. I know the group that had it forever, and they had it for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Absolutely incredible. US lead list. You get 28 months of backlog on your lists, which give you a nice robust list. That's actually the best ones, in my opinion. The new ones that come out every month aren't as powerful as the ones that have been seasoned a little bit. So you get all that. You get free skip tracing. He takes care of you. It's incredible. Check that out. And then he does a whole course on direct mail if you want to do that, and really holds your hand on how to develop a really nice process for helping out people in probate. Dealmachine.com. Deal Machine is where you can pull all your lists, your other lists, but also skip tracing and driving for dollars. It is, I would say, it is definitely the Swiss Army knife that we use, that the whole industry uses, and they've done an unbelievable job of increasing the amount of the features that they have and tools that they have in Deal Machine. It's awesome. Investor Base, which we're going to be getting into here in about 8 minutes, is really cool. If maybe you can't necessarily afford Investor Lift, or you're not doing enough business to qualify for this, this is really good option. Really, really, really a must-have. I love these guys here. RealSupermarket.com. When I found out about this from a student, it was a game changer, because they have really, really, really great lists of the probate, pre-probate, inherited, pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, code violations, tax liens, absentee, and people that are looking to get credit repair. This company sells their data to all the other companies that you're probably using. They do. So email at Chut up here. It's at the top. You can't just pull a list online. They do it for you. It's awesome. And let them know that I sent you. And he hooks you up. And then when you're ready to get the absolute fastest and biggest leads possible, it is pay-per-click. I'd love to work with you. And that's at talktopeople.com. We pulled in some incredible talent from Google. They're running Google ads for other huge businesses, $1 million budgets, multiple millions of budgets being spent, and brought them into our industry. They looked at everything, looked at the best practices of what was working around the country, and established a really, really, really great agency for putting somebody into your business that can run this for you and keep you updated on a weekly basis, and really care about the leads and the deals that you're getting, because it just doesn't make sense to have an agency unless you're winning, because there's too much turnover and it's just a mess. So definitely check those out. Let me stop the screen here and not get into infinity mirror, and let's throw some darts. What do we want, guys? What do we want? Who wants the hat? Who wants a shirt? Who wants the Trapper Keeper? Trapper Keeper that has master lead sheet, pad, the Real Estate Deal Maker by my man, Henry Washington. Incredible book. We're going to be giving that away. So put in the chat. What, Brent? Is that a stylish 1980s / early 90s Trapper Keeper? that traps and it keeps. You know it. It's awesome. So let's do it. Okay. Who wants what? Who wants what? Is anybody responding, Handra? Okay. Good participation, guys. Oh, I threw it in the same spot. Hey, somebody's getting a hat. There we go. Just had to put a little bit more arc on it. So somebody's getting a hat. You guys, the toughest decision that you have to make during this is, which hat do you want? The white or the black? Let us know. Alejandra will be posting the winner in the chat. Oh, there you go. It's already, Armando got it. There you go, Armando. You get the hat. Absolutely incredible. All right. Guys, not a lot of questions today, which is fine. Just know that we're here to answer whatever questions that you have. So if you do have some questions about what we've gone over, apparently I just crushed it, Luke. I just crushed the way that I crushed the breakdown of what how to get to $1 million business. All right. Before we get going, let me just put up some core trainings that everybody needs to know. This is more true today than it is ever. We've got 4 months of inventory. That means if you're running your numbers quickly and you're looking on Zillow and you're wondering what you should be offering, base it off of this TTP offer price estimator. If his estimate is 250,000 or more, you want to be at 50%. If it's between $249,999 to $100,000, 35%. And if it's under $100,000, when it is beautiful, you want to be at 10%. Okay? Awesome. We got some questions. Mitchell Jordan, any advice for pulling solid lists when first starting out? Thanks. I would highly suggest you try to get US lead list, Mitchell, if you can. If you can't, the realsupermarket.com code violations are going to be incredible. Pre-probates, inherited properties are going to be incredible. Not a tremendous amount of pre-foreclosures. That's like a hot topic, and we do some shows on it. We do some content on it just because it gets good views, because everybody thinks that pre-foreclosure, oh, that makes sense. They're going to lose their house. They're going to sell it. No, 90% of pre-foreclosures do a loan modification, and it extends it out for forever. So it's not the hottest list in our experience, and in the experience that of coaching so many people, it's one of the lowest. It's one of the lowest. You got to talk to them. You got to talk to a lot of them to be able to get a deal there. But I would look at the code violations. If you can get them locally online, you could pull them. Typically, a lot of the towns, a lot of the cities, a lot of the counties will typically put it in the neighborhood services department, or you just look up code violations and just start going through those, pull the addresses out and put them into Excel, and then skip trace them, call them up. And that'll be good. But I would go to realsupermarket.com, Mitchell. Obviously, driving for dollars. 80% of new real estate investors get their first deal from driving for dollars. I do this fun thing these days where I go on eBay and I buy all the old real estate courses, all of them. I love it. I mean, some of them are ridiculous. I mean, I don't do lease options and I don't do the Carlton Sheets method, but some of it's just fun. It's just fun because I think it makes me a better teacher to look at all the old school. What are the actual things that have been around for the last 30, 40 years? Every single course that I have at my library, at home, and here has driving for dollars. Every single one since the 70s. The at-home study course, real estate investing at-home study course with Henry or Harvey or blah, Hank or whatever other H name. They all have it. They all have driving for dollars. So it's because it works. Ugly houses, big checks. That's what the show used to be called. I used to have a big purple neon sign in my office that just says, Ugly houses, big checks. Now it says conversations and offers. So, Dimitri, guys, if you're not following Dimitri Van Camp, if he's not in your world, you are silly. You are silly. He's so awesome. Lives in Europe, travels around, hangs out with his beautiful wife all the time, and buys and sells land in Florida. Says, I'm gravitating more and more towards fewer yet way bigger deals with title problems and massive spreads. Any opinion on this, Brent? Absolutely. You should reach out to Logan. What is Logan's last name? I'll hook you up, Dimitri. I'll hook you up. But yeah, the title issues, people can't sell it. You start figuring out those title issues on big pieces of land or commercial properties or even residential properties. Bigger the problems, the bigger spread. Go bananas for sure. Fulmer. Yeah, there you go, Dimitri. You know him. There you go. I have here, I've been watching back. I usually don't watch back the shows just because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, weird, I guess. It's like hearing your voice on a voicemail. But I've been working on not saying as much, and there you go after answering every question. So I've got it as a reminder. I'm working on it. Caden Couch, I locked up my first deal, Novation, with a minimum $20K profit on vacant land. Let's go, dude. Let's see if I can do this. That's not too bad. Awesome job. Keep that momentum. All right, guys. You guys ready? You guys ready for a demo on, who would you recommend SMS blasting for a small market? REI Reply. Check out REI Reply. That'll be a good one for you. Investorbase.com. How do we find the best cash buyers that have bought a property in the areas that we just locked up a deal? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because I have somebody here that can answer the question. Daniel McClam, how are you, brother?
What is up, guys? I'm good.
Good to see you.
Great to be
Now
here,
you should have the ability to share or present. Do you see that present button there?
Yep, I got it.
Why don't you pull it up and show us how to find? Let's find a deal in zip code 85033. I want to know all the buyers in zip code 85033. Are you able to do that, or do you have to do it by an actual address?
I'll show you how we do it. Best practice.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Brent, you know you're the man, right?
I'm trying to be. Trying to not say and there you go as much.
All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen here. Super stoked to be here. This is a product that is fairly new. Some of you may have heard of it, but a lot of you probably have not, which is super exciting. A little bit of background on me real quick is I was a commercial broker for 3 years, got into wholesaling, built a business around selling houses to hedge funds. Okay. So we built that business very quickly, scaled to, did about 150 deals in 2 years. I only say that to mention that I'm not a tech guy. I'm a co-founder in this business, but I built this out of a necessity in our own business of unavailable options. There wasn't anything out there to do what I'm going to show you that we do now. And what that is we can identify your most likely buyers who will pay the most, skip traced with the click of a button. Okay. We were doing them. Well, basically just to back step real quick, we got to this point where we were at a pinnacle, right, Brent? And I'm sure you have a lot of students who've been there. You've probably been there. We were so over leveraged into selling deals to institutional buyers that in 2022, we got hit by a brick wall, like a bus. It was like a Black Friday. I still remember the day we lost $150,000 in assignment fees in one day. So we had to rebuild the wheel. We had 5 acquisition agents in-house, 20 cold callers overseas, 30K in OpEx a month. It was a very tough 2, 3, 4 months. We had to
I had a
rebuild.
buddy, Daniel.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt here.
No,
that
man,
lost
go.
500,000 in non-refundable earnest deposits because they had locked up 100 deals with other wholesalers that they were selling to the hedge funds, and the hedge funds turned it off, and they lost $500,000 in literally, I think it was like 72 hours. All the hedge funds, one by one, done. As soon as they increased interest rates. Yep.
Yeah, I was there. And we were, I mean, I had probably 10 plus deals, 15 plus deals, just boom. Hey, Daniel, I'm sorry, man. We're turning the money off because the cost of debt just went too high and their pension funds weren't going to supply the same cost of debt. It went up and then they were paying the same as any other local flipper landlord. So anyways, it's important to note that that's how I got to where I am now. We're based here in Charleston, South Carolina, where we were virtually in about 10 different markets. So I'm sure a lot of people in here listening to this call will be doing virtual, which is another thing of this is nationwide. But we built it for our own business, right? We didn't want to go to the dispo platform that was extremely expensive. We didn't want to have to piecemeal together a buyer's list from say PropStream or some other providers out there because it just took too much time. It was too intensive. So without further ado, I'll show you what we have here. So,
all right,
guys, welcome to Investor Base. Okay, so this is a disposition software for wholesalers. So
this is not a marketplace, guys. This isn't you post it on there and you sell your deal. This is finding the actual cash buyers to start reaching out to. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct. And there's a reason for that, which I'll get to here in a little bit. But yes, we'll jump right in here. So I'll repeat what I said a minute ago before we run a search. High level, what is Investor Base? I'll say it again. What Investor Base does great is we identify your most likely buyers for your deal that will pay the most. Is anybody interested in that? Right? It should be a no-brainer. This is something that you should not be able to live without. I would even go to the point of saying that you should never tie up a property without running it through Investor Base and seeing what people are paying around you.
Yep.
Everyone terminates contracts. This is the unterminator, I will say. Okay. You're going to be able to see everyone that's doing a deal around you. And you know, before you tie it up, if you're going to move it. So without further ado, you said 85033. Where is that?
It's in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yep.
So typically, guys, what we do to run a search is you have to type in a full address. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zoom into Phoenix. And we're just going to run a random property. Okay. So I'm just going to go with this one, 6949 West Montebello Ave. Glendale.
That's 303. Go to the bottom one.
You want to do this one?
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. So, guys, pretty simple. All right. So we're going to type in the address. We're going to span out this mileage to 3 miles and 2 years. And what we're doing there is we're going to be identifying recent, nearby, flip, and buy and hold transactions. Okay. So obviously we can span this out very far. If it's a rural area, we can span this back to 10 years. Property types, we have everything from single family to land and in between. Okay. So if you have a specific product type that you're trying to sell, we have that specific buyer that might only buy that. Okay. Awesome. Between flippers and landlords. And here's the secret sauce, guys. If you are currently piecemealing a list together and then paying between 8 and 12 cents for skip tracing, it will cost you more to do that than what we're able to do here.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to tell you that up front. It will not only cost you more to do it that way, but it's going to take you way more time. All right. So all I do here is turn on this toggle, skip trace and save results. And that is going to provide me with the contact information for every buyer that we are going to populate in here live. Okay. So when I run this search, this isn't a stored buyers list. This isn't something we went out and bought. We don't even know what's going to populate here. Okay. Because this is a live search and we're going to run it and it's going to calculate who actually has done a flip nearby. And
Guys,
who-
live search. This isn't like it updates every once a month, once a week. This is live. Because I know that question's coming.
LIVE live. All right. I'm going to stop delaying here. So when we press search, what the software is doing once again is it is identifying every single transaction that's occurred within 3 miles in 2 years. And then we are automatically identifying which one of those was a flip deal and which ones were a buy and hold by a landlord. Okay. So the scrubbing is done for you. So what we just did in about 5 seconds typically would take a virtual assistant or yourself hours on hours
Forever. Yep.
to do that.
Yep.
Okay. So what we just did is provided 151 results for flip and buy and hold transactions that have occurred within 3 miles in 2 years. Right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
So when we zoom in here, we have the blue icon, which is going to indicate a flip deal, right? And we have the green icon, which is going to identify a buy and hold transaction. Okay.
That's funny. Elman there on Cambridge buys Elman Krupnik buys an unbelievable amount of properties.
Which one is that? Did I miss that?
No. He's just over there on the smart search. He's
Oh, okay.
6330 West Cambridge. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, Brent. If you're pretty deep in Phoenix, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll know a lot of these guys. But what's so funny is people that tell me they have a buyer's list. They're like, man, I already have a buyer's list.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, let's just run a search deep in your market, and you tell me who you know and who.
Yeah.
You know. And it's funny because they're like, oh yeah, I know that guy, I know that guy, I know that guy. So yeah, the data's legit, but I don't know the other 50% of people who might be doing 4 flips within these search parameters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like everyone's leaving money on the table when they think that they have a super robust buyers list, right? So let's just audit this data real quick, okay? So
you know it's crazy also, he never
Yeah.
buys it in his own name. He buys it in his company name, but yet it pulls his name and his contact info instead of the LLC info. Guys, this is bananas. They do a phenomenal job of pulling the LLCs. I think you do trusts as well, right?
yes, we do.
Yeah.
So let's just take Elman for an example here, okay? So
Yep.
Elman is your number 2 smart match buyer, which I'll touch on in a second. It's again, I told you what we do best is we identify your most likely buyers and who's going to pay the most, okay? So I'll get at that in a second. But from a high level view, we see a number 4 next to Elman's name, right? What does that mean? That means that he has done 4 deals within 3 miles in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we can zoom in and see exactly where they are. We see one's up here, one's right here, one's here.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got another one here that's probably on the market, just hasn't sold yet. So he's a flipper, but he's marked as a landlord here because this one just hasn't traded yet. I bet you if we clicked on
Well,
it.
he keeps a lot of properties too. I mean, you could see there he's got 78.
Yeah, it could be that. But I just clicked on it. It actually is on the market. You couldn't see my screen, but I clicked on the Zillow link. So he's trying to flip that one. Perfect. Okay, so guys, let's just look at this data real quick. All right, so when we click into a subject property, so this is a flip deal, right? So we're trying to sell this house right over here. We got a bunch of good information on the property. We provide you with investor comps, transaction history. So a lot of the same stuff that PropStream or another data provider would provide you with. It's another just added bonus there, but we're trying to sell this deal at 6949 West Monterey. Okay. What would I do if I'm trying to sell this deal? I've never been to Phoenix. I don't know a single buyer in Phoenix. Okay. But I can absolutely 100% assure you that I would sell this deal in 1 hour max.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably only make 20 phone calls. So what I'd do is I'd probably, well, to start, I would call from top to bottom on Smart Match, right? But let's zoom in and just see what we got. Say you wanted to zoom in and see exactly who's doing a deal in your backyard. All right. So this is some of the information we give you. You have the subject property that was flipped. You get the bed bath count, square footage. You get the price they paid, when they bought it. So very recent, May 24. This is a quick turn for this guy. 150 and sold it for 329. This guy must have crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
Rehab couldn't have been that much if he turned it in 2 months. but we have the LLC name, the entity mailing address, the registered agent, mobile 1, mobile 2, landline 1, possible email. I love the Zillow link. I wish I could show it to you, but it's not letting me share. Well, actually, I can share this type of stuff. Now you see this. So obviously a flip, guys. Boom. Never been here, but I know this guy is a flipper, just did a deal. He bought it for 150. You put that on per square foot basis, guarantee this guy's paying a pretty penny for houses, because he just did a very successful one right around the corner from you. I might need to share my screen again. Hang on.
I feel like I sold that one.
Really?
Maybe not. I'm literally looking on my deals this year now.
7231 West Flower.
We had a different one on Flower. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, guys, so you can audit that info. Obviously, that guy's a flipper. You know, I guarantee you, as we go around and click through some of these, you'll see like, and I don't want to split back and forth between screens, but as you audit it, the flip data we provide, like 95% of the time, it really was a flip.
Right.
It wasn't an owner occupant that might have just relocated. It wasn't this, it wasn't that. Right. Okay. So it's very on point to help you save time in the disposition process.
Well, one thing that I also do, Daniel, is I make sure that I know my market, the average deal size 25. So when I see what this sold for, I add 25,000 on top of it to understand what is the actual wholesale price. Because this is what the contract price was that gets recorded. Unless it was a double close or something like that, you're not going to know what the total price was. So I always assume in a small market, if I'm going rural, it's less than 250,000 people, I'm adding 10,000 to these numbers. If it's a medium market, I'm adding 15,000. And if it's a large market, I'm adding 25,000 on top of this. And I go, okay, well, at this one on 72nd Lane, they paid 275. I'm assuming it's closer to 300. So when I'm going and I'm negotiating with that property owner and they want whatever, they want 300, I know I need to be lower than that to be able to sell and dispo that property. And so that really helps me to anchor low and start building it up. And remember, guys, if you want to make more with less deals, you have to be able to negotiate stronger on the front end. We make money when we buy. And 2, you need to put it in front of more buyers. That's how you get bigger profits in your business. You negotiate stronger and you have more buyers that are looking at it. That is the perfect formula for increasing the amount that you make per deal. And think about it. If you do 10 deals and you increase the amount that you do per deal by just $5,000 each one, that's an extra $50,000 a year.
Yeah, spot on. And people have always kind of neglected dispositions, right? They spend all this money, they spend all this time in acquisitions to get the deal, just to only call one buyer,
right?
2 buyers,
right?
Go to the same person they always go to, or go to the person that everyone sells their deal to. Because I can guarantee you one thing, the person that everyone sends their deal to is definitely not paying the most, because he's seeing 10, 15, 20 deals come across his desk every other day.
That's literally Elman. We haven't sold a deal to Elman in forever. He sees too many. He has too much. He just cherry picks the stuff that he likes, and everybody sends him all the deals. So to get through the filter and to get it through, we have to literally text him and tell him about the deal and then see if he wants it. And then he starts negotiating and turns into this whole thing. When we send it out to everybody, we make way more. It's just a fact. And he knows that.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't look at our stuff.
That's why I don't send any deals to Brent anymore, because
that's right.
He always
too many deals.
Never sees too many deals. Yes, so guys, I hope everything makes sense here. It's really simple. Okay. Yep. This page, I hope that makes sense of how data is populating here. We'll save some for Q&A if we do have that on this call. And just want to say this too. We do a live demo. So when you come and sign up with us, we want you educated. We want to understand your business. We want to understand your current operating procedures. We don't want to change any of that. We just teach you how to bolt this in to your existing process to where whoever's making these calls is doing it as effectively as possible. So we'll keep running through this, Brent. So as you see on this right side, guys, this is our list view, which houses all 151 results. We have this categorized by most likely to buy your deal at the top to least likely to buy your deal at the bottom.
Awesome.
And that's based on a few things. Once again, very simple. It's based on high level. We're taking the deal that we're trying to sell and we're matching it up to the deal that they did. So we're taking into account things like similar square footage, proximity, how close is it to this property, time, how recently did they do it, how many deals have they actually done, have they done more than one deal in the last 2 years within 3 miles? If so, they weight a little bit higher. What price did they pay is a component of this algorithm, okay? There's many other variables that all compute together to compute a score on the back end. And if it's high enough, they can achieve what we call a smart match icon. So all we're doing here, we are saving time in the dispo process and showing you who you should call that second or third time before you start doing mass blasting and mass this and mass that. We are sniping these people for you. Okay. Brent, what did Eugene say on the call the other day? Can I bring that up?
Yeah, go ahead.
I jumped on Brent's Rhino Tribe call probably last week.
Yep.
And I don't know how Eugene got into our system. I guess you might have sent it to him prior to Brent, but Eugene stepped up and spoke and said, "Hey guys, I just want to say I hopped on Investor Base on Sunday. This was Tuesday." So he said, "I just sold a deal within 24 hours." And I said, "Okay, well, Eugene, how many calls did you make? What's the deal? What happened?" He said, "I made 17 phone calls and had 9 people walk the property." Did I misunderstand that, Brent, or is that what he said?
That was it. I mean, it's not rocket science. Find the people that love fishing in the areas that that you have deals and put it in front of them. But
Right.
it's that is what it is. Eugene also talks to 100 people every single day. He's an absolute beast. He's incredible.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be a very good investor-based client because you do have to call people here. Okay, guys?
Yep.
You do not make phone calls. You will not be successful. All right.
Yep.
There's a reason for that. We would love to have more automated marketing, but with that comes its baggage, right? Which I won't get into now, but calling is number one for building a relationship with someone and actually adding these people to your list, which you can do in Investor Base as well.
Guys, use this link right here. You get $100 off. It costs $250 a month. Let's skip right to it, Daniel. It's $250 a month. It's not like this thousands and thousands like some of these other platforms that you'll have to pay for. And they're going to increase the price. They're going to be adding a ton more features, and the price is going to increase. It's going to be tiers. You get in while they're building this thing, guys, and you get locked in. This isn't a sales tactic to be like, "Oh, time is scarce. You better get in now." This is just facts. So if you want to get the absolute best pricing for this thing and you see the incredible value in being able to reach out to the investors that are actually closing on deals, not other wholesalers that say that they're investors that are just going to shop your deals on Investor Base. They're going to get this. This is the business plan for people. I'm not going to go find my deals. I'm going to go tell everybody that I'm a cash buyer. I'm going to get on all the other wholesalers lists. I'm going to take their deals. I'm going to call the people that are in this area because they won't do it themselves. And I'm going to sell their deals and I'm going to make 5-10K on top of it. I'm not a real cash buyer. I'm just a middleman, which, listen, all props to you. If you're going to be proactive, do it. But guys, you can make way more than you're going to make double what you can if you're selling your own deals to actual buyers. It's just a fact. I'm not putting on shade on anybody that has a dispo business, but that's all they're doing. They're just taking your deals and putting it out to these buyers through these tools and selling your deals. So don't be lazy. Get the tool, get a discount, and get locked in with the right price before they start adding too much to it and they start charging more. Am I right, Daniel?
Yeah. We've already had the tiers discussion. It's locked in. It just hasn't rolled out yet. It's in development. Price will go up. But if you do get in now, once again, this isn't a sales thing. we've been around for 6 months, guys. We made this price in April. This is our test price. People are adopting this ASAP. Okay. And I don't say this as a ploy to try and get you in. It's just absolutely where we're at right now, and the price will go up. But we will honor your price forever if for anyone, any of our existing customers. So yeah.
Guys, check it out. We put the link in the chat. If you're watching a replay of this, just go to the chat there. We'll also put it in the show notes, probably, Handra. Is that right? Where do we usually put the links? The show notes or in the comments? In the comments. We'll put it in the comments as well. Make it easy for you guys. Check it out. Click it. Get in there. Start selling your deals. Make double what you would if you were selling it or having somebody else sell your deals, and keep that money, baby. There you go. So, Daniel, thanks for being on here, brother.
Yeah. And last things I'll say, there's some CRM functionality. There's reverse wholesaling functionality. There's acquisition tactics functionality out of here. There is the ability to export functionality. There is all sorts of other functionality in here. We covered the meat and potatoes, but highly, 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 highly recommend you book a demo with Zach when you come in, or myself. Okay.
Yeah, they got incredible training, guys. It goes through all of it. There's way more than we talked about in the 20 minutes that we talked about here. But listen, if you understand this business, you understand how powerful this tool is. So investorbase.com /weird ? Ref = TTP. We got to figure something out there, bro. we got to make that a lot easier. Anyway, Daniel, thanks for coming on here. We'll have you back on in a couple months and see all the other changes and improvements that you have on there. But guys, really powerful, and you don't have to commit thousands to it off the bat. And by the way, guys, it's nationwide. It's nationwide. You get all the buyers in the country. Nationwide. Boom. Thanks, Daniel.
Hey, Brent, you the man.
See ya. Awesome. What a show. We went through it all. Let's do a quick little recap here, guys. Number one, build the skills. Build the skills. It doesn't matter what market you're in. Doesn't matter what the economy is doing. Doesn't matter what inflation's doing. Doesn't matter what the supply and demand and the inventory in the marketplace is doing. You build the skills, that personal development, the experience that you have. Nobody can take that from you. All right. So build up your brain. Learn the skill of making money before the skills of your money making more money. It's a weird sentence, but I think you guys get it. There you go. And here's your business at $1 million plus. It's you. You've got operations. You've got your COO. This is your chief operating officer. They're basically you running, keeping everybody accountable. Transaction coordinator and an incredible escrow officer. Acquisitions, you got a setter and a closer. They do the lead follow-up. They close the deals. Dispositions, you got a disposition manager. Keep it simple and just expect once you get to $1 million, 25% is going to be marketing, 25% is going to be staff, 10% is going to be operation, 40% is going to be profit. And then you'll screw around and start making a lot of money. And then the IRS is going to be like, you better W-2 these. And you're going to be like, okay. And then it's going to be somewhere in that 20, 30% range as opposed to 40, but that's business. So there you go. Make more money. That's all I got to say. Guys, the show does not happen without the incredible staff here. So Alejandra, come on in. Luke, come on in. Matt, come on in. Everybody on the production crew is here because they love you and they support you and they want you to go out and do massive deals. All right? There's Matt. There's Alejandra. Luke was there. We love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean. Your actual house in this one here, right? Protect your health. Increase your value to the world. You'll live an incredible life. See you next week. Love you guys. Boom. This thing.